Amazon is known for delivering the goods, so I thought we should visit a city that's situated right in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. Here are the stadiums and arenas of Manaus, Brazil. Where are all the fulfillment centers? It's just beautiful nature. Estadio Ismael, Benino, Kolina. Like just about every Brazilian stadium, this place has a couple of alternate names. It's affectionately known as the Hill, as it's situated atop a very small hill. The design is about as simple as it gets. Equally proportioned stands on each side that consist of concrete terracing rather than seating. And only the tiniest of roofs for the cameramen and whatnot. Oh, sorry, camera person. The newer models of camera don't require a penis. The rudimentary amenities are a little surprising given that this was basically entirely rebuilt prior to the 2014 World Cup. No, it wasn't one of the host venues obviously, but it was used for training purposes. It wasn't the only ground in town that was used for that purpose. The lack of roof coverage is probably no big deal. It's not like it rains in the Amazon rainforest. How much rain does this city get? Can't be that much. Ooh, 2,300 mils a year. Yeah, bring a raincoat. Estadio Carlos Samith was another venue that was developed prior to that World Cup to be used as a training facility. Only this one was entirely built in 2014. There wasn't a stadium here at all beforehand. Once again, it is a pretty bare-bones stadium with very little in the way of luxury. The only aspect that sets it apart a little bit is the facade of this stand. That is the side from which spectators enter from the car park. So it makes sense that they spend a little bit extra time and money on that one. Unlike the previous ground, one end has been left empty. Although there is a tower there. Towers above the rest of the ground, but that sort of goes without saying. As you can see by the parade of logos in the top right hand corner of the screen, half of Brazil's football clubs seemingly call this place home. Although a few of them also play at Arena de Amazonia, which was the actual World Cup stadium, as you may have guessed. It is just a slight step up from the previous grounds. Like most World Cup venues, the architecture has a particular theme. This was fittingly inspired by the Amazon rainforest. Have you heard of it? This city is actually situated within it. Actually, I think I mentioned that earlier, didn't I? I can see that inspiration come through. The building also collects vast amounts of rainwater and puts it to good use. And it harnesses energy from the sun. So it is very much like the plants of the Amazon. If they wanted to go like next level atmospheric, they could play an Amazon soundtrack throughout the concourses. It would feel like you're really amongst the jungle if you heard the sounds of tropical birds, frogs, and chainsaws. But I guess people don't visit the stadium for a relaxed atmosphere. They want to be amongst a big crowd of cheering fans. Too bad that doesn't occur at this ground too often. Even the highest ranked club that plays here, Amazonas FC, rarely attracts more than 10,000 supporters. The other clubs that play here are like in the 4th tier. I guess they just play here occasionally to make the stadium appear as though it's less of a white elephant. Maybe some local derbies attract a decent crowd. Arena Polyportiva Amadeo Teixeira. Interestingly, this arena had to change its name in 2017 due to a law that didn't allow public buildings to be named after living people. It was changed back just a few months later when Amadeo Teixeira died. That may seem strange, but I suppose it's to do with politics. As we've learned from the United States, if you put your name on as many buildings and products as possible, you will become president. Anyway, this is a peculiar venue, both on the outside and within. The method of construction is a little unconventional. Usually at a modern arena you wouldn't find big pillars like this holding up the roof. And if you did, they would be hidden away in the corner. Secondly, the combination of a circular seating bowl lower down and 6 straight segments of seating behind that line up with the 6 sides of the hexagonal building makes for an interesting look. If it were a bit more colourful, it would look like a flower. Well, I suppose there are plenty of white flowers. Geez, my flower knowledge is poor. Can't even think of a white flower. What's that one with the petals in the stem? Anyway, cool venue. It's used mainly for futsal if you couldn't tell already. Sambodromo de Manaus. Now this is something a bit different. It's like the Panathinaikos Stadium in Athens, only more segmented and much less marvellous. It is most commonly used for parades of the samba, school and military variety. It is the largest Sambodrome in Brazil and presumably the world because Well, I don't think they have Sambodromes in Slovakia or Namibia or anywhere outside of Latin America. Unsurprisingly, it also hosts religious events. Although they probably have to repaint the stands before the event. That looks too much like a rainbow. And we can't be having any of that gay stuff. Speaking of which, this does look like it could host the drag race. You know, of the automotive variety. Estadio Roberto Simonson is the smallest stadium we've seen so far. It can house just 5,000. But it seems to be slightly better equipped than the first two stadiums we saw. Maybe. I mean, each stand has a roof, so that's a plus. And underneath those roofs are actual proper seats. Some of them are, at least. Roberto Simonson was an engineer from the era in which cantilever roofs weren't common. So the fact that there are pillars obstructing the view of some spectators is actually fitting in this instance. So yeah, maybe modest in size, but as Lionel Hutz would say, it's not small, it's cozy. That was awful. Damn, it's been like 5 years since I watched an episode of The Simpsons. I wonder if Patrick still lives under a rock or if he's bought himself a proper house already. So there you have it. I would say there were some amazing Amazonian stadiums, but most of them were just okay. My favourite is obviously Arena de Amazonia. To say it was a cut above the rest is an understatement. It is a rose in a field of manure. Okay, that's a bit harsh. Oh, roses. You can get white roses, that's a white flower. Bit late. Now it's time for extra time. I was curious to see how the economic output of the Amazonas state compares with Amazon the company. Amazon's annual net sales is pushing $700 billion, whereas Amazonas state's GDP is around $25 billion. I know those are different metrics, but still, it's not even close. But no, an endless amount of tat doesn't compare with the beauty of that. I'm saying all this as if there's actually some sort of rivalry between Amazon and the Amazon rainforest. Would like to go to Brazil one day. Never been to South America. Peru seems interesting as well. Chile is cool. It's like the Norway of South America, with all the fjords and relatively high standard of living. Argentina is like the Australia of South America, because of all of the beef. And the beef with the UK as well, I guess. They went a bit too far with it though. Scoring a goal using your hand in a World Cup is just not on. The Falklands invasion was a bit unsportsmanlike as well. What would Paraguay be like? Probably would be like Slovakia or something. You literally never hear about Paraguay on the news. Oh yeah, videos are supposed to end, aren't they?
Thanks for watching. Have a good one.